Oh, this is the threat. This is what people are worried about. Is that they're concerned that Iran could have like sleeper cells and terrorists in the US that are going to do attacks now. And I feel like the probability of that happening is very, very, very low, but it's possible that it would happen.
Special Agent and Navy SEAL Jonathan Gilliam. Jonathan, good morning to you. I want to talk to you about what has led to this moment in time. When you think about since October 7th, what Israel was capable of doing with the pager attack against Hezbollah, where Hamas stands right now, and where the Houthis that have, with the help of the United States, been very much decimated in their capabilities to strike back. All of that leading to this moment that we sit in right now.
Yeah, sure. Because like you see, obviously, like, I mean, there clearly was a grand design here. Is that like after they systematically got rid of all of their kind of like terrorist networks, like the Hezbollah and the Houthis and like, what was the other one? Hamas, and like killing all of their leadership there. Now they're attacking Iran directly. And it seemed like it's very, like this was a very methodical and planned decision.
Right. And, you know, it's interesting when we look at this, Israel has actually evolved back to the out of the box thinking and the tactics of eliminating your enemy like it was in before World War II and during World War II. After that, the world moved to a different way of fighting. And we've seen a tremendous amount of advances in techniques and evolution of warfare in Ukraine and Russia. And the way that the Iranian intel services in China use social media, for instance, to actually form social issues within other nations. And now we see this, where Israel has gone back and systematically taken out the proxies. Now, this is very important because Iran does not fight their own wars outside of their borders.
Yeah, they killed the proxies, and now that the proxies are dead, now they're attacking the main place, which is Iran. It seems pretty obvious that's the plan.
Use proxies, and I don't know if most people realize that. They have targeted Iran over, or
it's like, I mean, you want to use like a WoW analogy. It's like you're going to kill the trash mobs before you fight the boss. I mean, obviously. It's common sense. Anybody would do this.
Over and over, using Hamas, Hezbollah. They went after Israel's strategic
I'm just
targets
being honest,
using
right?
the Houthis.
Am I wrong?
And
am I wrong or not?
Somewhere along the way, Israel figured this out. And I think this is part of at least a three-prong operation. First was the intel gathering about Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran themselves, along with the Houthis. And then they started carrying out attacks to really just cripple Hamas and Hezbollah. We, like, as you just said, helped with the Houthis. But along that way, there was an initial attack inside of Iran. It tested their air defenses. We saw that they were horrible. And it showed.
Yeah, I mean, it made them look like a joke. I mean, like, the difference is like, I don't, it's like a night and day difference. It's like Iran is like 30 or 40 years behind Israel. I mean, it's almost like it's not even fair.
That Iran did not have the ability to go the distance all the way over themselves into Israel and actually effectively attack Israel. So with all of that in place and understanding all that and all those different...
Iran just attacked Israel live on Fox News? I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure that's not true. If something like that happens, let me know, but I'm not seeing any of that right now.
Working, they were able to then go and start putting these operatives inside Iran and setting up for the big attack. And I think the rest of the world needs to realize that this is the way war fighting has evolved, and Israel is successful because they did it that way. They didn't just do it politically.
So, Jonathan, what do you think Iran is doing right now? Are they calling up their proxies that have been severely degraded over the past year and a half and saying,
I don't think they're going to be able to do that.
Back?
Well, so here's where the real...
Somebody says, didn't Iran just prove deficiencies in Israel's Iron Dome 5 to 6 months ago? Yeah, the Iron Dome isn't perfect, but like, the Iron Dome gets like 95% of the missiles, whereas Iran stops 0% of the missiles, it seems. So that's clearly what the difference is.
issue, I think, of the future for all of us comes into play is that we constantly call,
Yeah,
and I've
7
heard
out of
several
10.
guests
Yeah, it's pretty good.
call Iran the terrorists of the region. But the reality of terrorism is a tactic that they use. Their ideology is fundamental Islam, and this has been a case for thousands of years. And Iran has never evolved or progressed to where they work things out diplomatically. You could never.
I mean, I feel like they had that before the revolution. I mean, they had that before 1979, and they got taken over by a military fucking group that are extremists that are oppressing their own people.
Trust them. And so with this fundamentalism, this is the fear that I have, is that even inside the United States, the exact attack that that Israel just carried out inside the borders of Iran, with the way that our border was down for 4 years, there could be cells here that could be activated by Iran or proxies.
I think this is fear mongering. I do. I think this is silly. I mean, is it possible this could happen? Yeah, of course it's possible this could happen. But like to pretend like this is something that we should be immediately aware of and afraid of, I don't really think so. I hate fear mongering. I mean, like, yeah, and there's a good chance that there could be a terrorist, even if somebody blows themselves up in the name of Iran here, that doesn't necessarily mean that Iran planned it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of levels of extension that you have to go through in order to, like, really make sense out of this and to assume that it's true. So when I hear this and it's like, well, it's just radical Islam. Well, I mean, we haven't had these same problems with all of these other countries, right? I mean, it's primarily Iran, and they've been the main problem that this has been going on with now for a long period of time, especially with them in Israel. So I don't really think that's the issue, especially whenever you have videos and like pictures of Iran in the 60s and 70s and people are walking around in bikinis like it's fucking London or something. So I don't think that Iran is somehow like, you know, rotten to the core. That's ridiculous. I think it's being occupied by an oppressive, religious, fundamentalist, militaristic government. And I don't even think the people there like it. So to say that there's going to be a bunch of, Iranians that are going to go out and try to fight for themselves and like martyr themselves, I'm just not seeing that. I'm not seeing that happen. Like, I mean, it might happen, but like, I don't think there's going to be a massive concerted effort, if that makes sense.
Groups that are loyal to Iran.
Am I crazy for saying that? Similar to Israel? Yeah. CIA put the extremists in power. Well, bad call on that one.
In Israel, that's basically what happened on October 7th when the Hamas went in and attacked Israel. They weren't prepared for that, and so we need to be prepared. Right, Israel needs to be prepared for those types of attacks. And the number one way to do that is for the citizenry to be aware, and that's what's going to prevent the majority of this. But Israel, I mean,
I would say this, that, like, I mean, regardless of, like, whether this is happening or not, I would definitely avoid a lot of those, like, protests and those big crowds tomorrow. Because, you know, they're going to have that military parade. And, like, if you're not there at the parade itself, which is probably going to have better security, I would not want to have anything to fucking do with that, right? Like, I would be very, very unsettled, at least for the next week or so, right?
Definitely on top
avoiding
of their game.
people,
And
well,
right
avoiding
now,
situations.
Iran
really,
should
that's
be in
it.
panic mode because they don't even have the ability right now at this point to run operations with their proxies because they're fighting for their life.
Yeah, the fear of sleeper cells in the United States is very concerning. It's something that the president is very aware of and trying to mitigate as we speak. Jonathan, thank you for joining us this morning.
It sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me. I mean, yeah, there's a chance something like this could happen, but I mean, I think that, again, this is predicated off of the assumption that Iran has always had this problem, which isn't true. I think it's primarily fear-mongering more than anything. So, yeah, alternative media. Yeah, I guess so. It's just fear-mongering. Yeah, I would guess so, too. And what's this? To be fair, we stated Shaw was oppressive as fuck. You essentially concede to terrorists if you change your life and actions based on fear. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I'm also not going to tell people, yeah, it's a great idea for you to go out. I think this is from earlier. It's a great idea for you to go out and do this, when there's a chance that something like that could happen out of nowhere. Like, I mean, I think that it's, again, you're right, but it's also like being right doesn't necessarily help you if you're putting yourself in danger. Like, there's people that have bad things happen to them and it's not fair, but it still happens anyway. And that's my point, right? It's being cautious. Exactly. Like, for example, like, nobody should steal, but I would still recommend that not to leave a brand new Switch 2 or a PlayStation 5 in a car in a parking lot unlocked overnight. Like, nobody should steal, but at the same time, you don't want to put yourself in a position where this could negatively affect you either. So I think it's common sense both ways. Being right doesn't make you immortal. Yeah, exactly. You have to take calculated risks and you have to be smart. But yeah,